What's up, fellas? It is your lovely commissioner coming at you on another Tuesday afternoon, coming for not only the Week 13 recap, but the regular season recap of Week 8. I'm sure a lot of you already know how it all fleshed out, but I didn't want to break tradition and not go with another recap. Plus, there's some other things that we have, some duties that we have to tidy up and take care of. So let's get right into it. Let's start with one of the bigger upsets of the week. Sorry, some rather attractive female just drove by. Distracted me. Let's get to one of the bigger upsets of the week. Don, congratulations, buddy. It only took you till week 13, but you got your second win. That's awesome. And you took Brandon out in the process, which I know at least two people are thankful for. Don beats Brandon 109 to 102. Don bumps up to 2-11. He remained in 10th place, which, I mean, we all pretty much knew that. And Brandon dropped to 8-5, stayed in third. But he is one of the 6 teams that is in the playoffs. But Brandon did, however, fall out of the bye week. He had a bye week, as of last week, the standings were he had a bye week. He no longer has a bye week. He will be playing next week. One of 4 teams playing next week. Matchup goes as follows. Tom Brady finally came through for Don, 25 points after how many weeks of just awful showings. That's about the only thing on Don's team that was really worth mentioning. He had average weeks from everybody else, but Brandon decided to start Tyler Lockett, who I don't even know if he was on the field last night, honestly. There was a lot of guys catching balls from Russell Wilson and a lot of guys kicking the Vikings' ass last night, but Tyler Lockett was not one of them. So that was probably detrimental to Brandon's team there. Let's see. Nobody on Brandon's team broke 20 points, and that's the threshold I used to mention players, so we're not going to mention anybody on Brandon's team. And we don't have to do magic numbers this week, so yeah, like I said, Don is in the toilet bowl for the plate. Brandon made playoffs. Congrats, Brandon. Next matchup, we had Nate versus Corey. Corey, I think technically, if I remember correctly, technically Corey was still in the playoff hunt as of last week. He needed everything to go right for him and then some. Obviously, it did not. Not only did he not make playoffs, but he also lost this week. Nate put up a solid 133 points against him to his 107. Nate locks up. He leapfrogs 3 teams. He was in 5th place last week, and he jumped all the way up to second, one of, I believe, 3 teams with the record of 8-5 this regular season. So Nate is in second, locked up a bye for this week. So Nate, congrats on that. And Corey officially solidified his place in the toilet bowl and potential for him to keep the plate for back-to-back years, which if you need any consoling about that, I think Matt can help you with that. Matchup-wise, let's take a look here. Lamar Jackson but did well for Nate. Julian Edelman did well. Zeke did good. Devontae Parker, 35 points. That's pretty awesome. Nate sat James White, who had 38 points, and Cortland Sutton, who had 24 points. So that's pretty good. Like I said, I think it was the second highest score of the week. Corey's team, again, nobody broke the 20-point threshold on his bench or on his starting lineup, so don't really need to talk about that. Nate, like I said, finished 8-5 in second place, bye week. Congrats, Nate. Corey also has a bye week, but it is in the toilet bowl. And just so you know, everybody in the toilet bowl has a bye this week. So if you're in the toilet bowl, take a break. Lick your wounds, console yourselves, whatever you got to do to make yourselves ready to compete to not get the plate. Do what you got to do. We're obviously all aware of how this next matchup went. Nick versus Matt. I believe Nick is... I think he took the day off to build that website. I don't know what he's going to call it. I don't think anybody's really come up with a good idea, or if Nick has even said what he's going to do. One thing that I would say, Nick, and you do what you want, but I would do something to incorporate Paul Charchian, because Nate will be your first customer. He will be on that like white on rice. He'll be on that like he's on his dick every preseason and every week on his rankings. Also, if you could put a message board in there to brag about your other teams, Nate would also be your first customer. So just, I mean, I'm no marketing expert, but hey, just trying to give you some pointers on things that you can do. Nick not only won this week by, well, exactly 3 points, down to the 10th decimal. By exactly 3 points, he locked up first place. He jumped all the way up from, I believe, third to first. Only team with 9-4, best record of the year. First place locks up that $50 for the best record of the regular season. So congrats on that, Nick. I would use that $50 to go to I don't know, some of those website places, GoDaddy or whatever. Matchup wise, Nick's team, 21 points from M. Sanders. I'm blanking. Technically, that was the only person on his team that broke 20, but he also had two players only two players not get double-digit points, so pretty good. Patrick Mahomes, I guess, technically had 20. Barely beat Matt with that loss. Matt needed me to lose to get to have a chance at playoffs still, but as you'll see here, I did not lose this week. Matt misses playoffs this year. He is the 7th place winner, first team out of the playoffs, and he will be competing for that plate to get it back on his car if Corey can get it off for him. That was totally unintentional. Derrick Henry for Matt, 24 points. That's about it. He sat Kenny Golladay, who had 26 points. That would have helped him. That was his highest scoring wide receiver, and also beat his flex. So yeah, if you would have started Kenny Golladay, things would have been they might have been different. I don't think they would have, because I'm pretty sure I still would have scored more points than Matt. Anyways, doesn't matter. Sit here and speculate all day. All that matters is Nick got first place. He won $50. He's in playoffs. Matt got 7th. He has a bye week because he's in the toilet bowl. Let's get to the next matchup. Oh, sorry. Had these out of order here. I had the matchup of the week next. You got to save that for last. Speaking of winning $50, we have the matchup between Dennis and Mitch. And Mitch won $50 because he scored the most points out of everybody. So, Mitch, congratulations on that. Maybe Nick would let you in as a partner on the website. You can kind of get in on the ground level and, make that turn that $50 into something. 118 to 103. Mitch did lose, though. Not that it really mattered, because Mitch pretty much had a playoff spot locked up, especially with his points. Dennis finished 5-8. He finished in 9th place. Let's take a look at the matchup. Allen Robinson for Dennis, 23 points. Robert Woods for Dennis, 30 points. Pretty good. As far as Mitch goes, he had Sean Watson, 29 points. Wow, Christian McCaffrey surprisingly did not break 20 points, and his kicker got -1. Hard to win. But hey, you know what, Mitch? When you can put up negative points from your kicker and still beat all of us in overall points, that's saying something. Dennis misses playoffs, but he is playing for the plate. Mitch, 7-6, 5th place. He will be one of the 4 teams playing next week. Okay, and now, And now the matchup of the week goes to a little bit of a rematch. If you between Perk and myself, congrats, Perk. I'm making a matchup of the week. That's pretty sweet. If you remember, it was several weeks ago. Well, probably 10 weeks ago. I lost to Perk by, I think, 0.9 points because some fuck I had on my team didn't catch any pass. I think it was Juju. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But yeah, so I kicked his ass this week. 146 points to 108. I put up the highest score of the week. I've been having a pretty good little stretch here. So I managed to get out of 7th place last week and solidified my 6th place spot and the last spot in the playoffs. This week I finished at 7-6. Perk finished at 8-5. Perk is in 4th. Him and I will also be the other two teams. Him and I will be the other 2 teams playing this week. Matchup wise, thanks Nate for Aaron Rodgers. 28 points he got me this week. I'll take that all the time. Devontae Adams conversely also got 24 points. It's like they're a duo or something. I started the wrong defense by not playing Buffalo at Dallas. Terrible management. Perk, on the other hand, Dak Prescott, 24 points after, he finally figured it out in the second half. And Perk's defense, 21 points, Los Angeles Rams at Arizona. Good play there. Like I said, Perk and I finished 6 and 4 respectively. Neither of us did anything in points. So like I said, so those are the recaps. Next week will be a very abbreviated one, as everybody in the toilet bowl has a bye, and there's only 4 of us playing in the regular season. Just a quick recap here too, with Mitch getting the most points. He had 1,797 points. He was I think he scored 54 points over whoever finished in second. I don't remember who that was, but congrats to them. So next week, Brandon and myself will be facing off, and Mitch and Perk will be facing off. So those are the only 4 teams playing, but good luck to Mitch and Perk. Hope the better team wins. Brandon, fuck you. I hope you get your ass kicked. You're only projected to lose by 30 points. The winner of Brandon and I's matchup, it will face Nate. The winner of Mitch versus Perk will face Nick. And that will all be discussed next Tuesday. So these videos will get shorter, believe it or not. So yeah, the 6 teams that have buys this week, congrats, you earned them. And the 4 of us that are still playing, get her done.